there is a strange pattern in the history of ideas. Welcome to the Sebcast, the home of the #1 network for your life. This is where we hear stories anew, look deeper, and discover together how Jesus works today. When an idea is new and radical, it changes people's lives, it wakes things up, it challenges people, it asks for new courage, but over time something else happens. People start to tame the idea. Reflect on how many revolutionary ideas have evolved over time. Initially, they are uncomfortable and disruptive, requiring people to live differently. However, after a few generations, people adapt the idea until it no longer challenges their lives. The idea persists, but its influence fades. The American writer G.K. Chesterton once said, "The Christian ideal has not been tried and found wanting. It has been found difficult and not tried." This brings us to an uncomfortable question. What happens when people become used to Jesus? At first, Jesus' message was revolutionary. It changed people's priorities. It built new communities. It inspired people to live with courage that amazed the world. But over time, faith can also turn into something else. It can become familiar, safe, and predictable. And when that happens, an ironic thing occurs. The message that initially turned people's lives upside down becomes something that makes people feel at ease. But Jesus never promised to be just comfortable. In Revelation 5:5, he is described with a rather powerful image, "Do not weep. See, the Lion of the tribe of Judah has triumphed." A lion. That is not the image of a pet. It is the image of something powerful, wild, and unpredictable. And that is an important reminder. The Jesus of the Gospels loved people, but he also challenged them. He forgave people, but he also called them to live differently. He accepted people, but he also invited them to a new way of life. In other words, he was never meant to be just a comfortable addition to people's existing lives. And yet it sometimes happens. We make faith small enough to fit into our existing plans. We make Jesus safe enough that he doesn't have to change our priorities. But when people rediscover who Jesus really is, something else happens. Then faith starts to move again. People start to risk again. They start to serve again. They start to live again with a bigger vision for their lives. And that is exactly why community is so important. Because when people live together around the story of Jesus, they help each other not just to become comfortable. They help each other to see the power of the gospel again. This is exactly where our idea of a leading network for your life comes in. Not just a network where people recognize each other, but a network where people support one another to genuinely live faith in their homes, workplaces, and daily routines. Because sometimes the greatest spiritual danger does not happen when people reject Jesus, but when they tame him so much that he no longer changes their lives. Many people become so accustomed to faith that it no longer transforms their lives. That's why a good question to ask today is, where is Jesus calling me to step out of my comfort zone? Maybe it's to forgive someone, maybe to start praying again, maybe to get involved with those around you. True faith doesn't just happen when we agree with Jesus, it happens when we are willing to follow him. Until tomorrow, take care.